It is the penultimate day of 2014. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Joy News at 8 on Joy News on Multi TV and also on ABN TV across Europe. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. Ahead in this bulletin, Ace Ghanaian broadcaster SiSi Life, also known in showbiz circles as KKD, has been denied bail by an Accra magistrate court after being charged with rape. Also in the grips of the law, hip life artist Kwakese granted bail by the Kumasi Metropolitan Circuit Court on health grounds. He was arrested some weeks ago for smoking cannabis in public. And here in Accra, the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, DSP SiSi Life, has reminded Ghanaians to take extreme caution when attending 31st December watch night services by locking up their houses and keeping their neighborhoods illuminated. In news elsewhere, Gambia's government has denied there has been an attempt to overthrow President Yahya Jammeh while he is abroad, even though heavy gunfire had earlier erupted near the presidential palace in the capital. We have these and many other stories, including sports and business, coming up in the next hour. Please stay with us. And on to the details now. Ace Ghanaian broadcaster SiSi Life, also known in showbiz circles as KKD, has been denied bail by an Accra magistrate court after being charged with rape. Presiding Judge Adjoa Echama, who adjourned hearing to January 8, 2014, said the rape charge being leveled against the accused is a non-bailable offense.
Media icon SiSi Life, affectionately called KKD, Tuesday morning made first appearance in an Accra magistrate's court. In his usual suit and bow tie, the Ace broadcaster managed intermittent smile throughout proceedings. The prosecution in court opposed that the bail application filed by lawyer of the accused, Nana Asante Bedietuo, insisting that the charge of rape is not a bailable offense and that the prima facie of the case has been established. However, KKD's counsel, made up of Nana Asante Bedietuo, Gary Nimako and Tony Forson, argued that their client has permanent place of abode and does not constitute any form of threat to the complainant and as such should be granted bail. The counsel for the defendant also said the complainant's facts do not have any bearing on the charge, hence prayed the court to grant their client's bail. But the court presided over by Adjoa Echama rejected the application, emphasizing the charge leveled against KKD does not allow for a bail and that the issue of consent being argued by the lawyers of the accused will only be considered at trial stage. Counsels for the complainant and the accused spoke to the media after proceedings.
The facts as adduced by the prosecution do not establish on their face that indeed a crime has been committed. So even though the crime of rape on the statute books is non-bailable, in certain circumstances the courts have granted bail, and I cited several cases in which the courts had granted bail. So, but we'll take it up further.
From the facts you saw, he said he should come and do some makeup for him because he was going to appear in a TV camera. So he wanted to do what? He wanted to have his face polished, and the woman was supposed to do that for him.
So
some makeup.
Does that mean, please clear this, washroom or bathroom? Which is
the sex was done in the washroom. What was put before the court was that there was a case of rape against the accused person, and that is what we...
And so what do you make of the outcome?
The outcome is okay because that is a law, and the court did what is to be done according to law. The court cannot grant bail in a case where what the person is charged with what? Rape.
Thank you.
And that is what the court just did.
The case has, however, been adjourned to January 8, 2015. Ridwan Karim Dini Osman, Joy News, Accra.
Well, Perhaps one of the many, I beg your pardon. Now, Ghana, a non-governmental organization, has stressed, it's a bit of a mix-up there, has stressed the need to step up efforts to assess the utilization of budget allocated in the District Assembly Common Fund. According to its Chief Executive, SiSi Kamara, the prompt release of funds for the District Assembly Common Fund and an effective monitoring policy will make it easier to track the disbursement of such budgets and also empower citizens to hold the government accountable for all projects and other initiatives at the local level.
Chief Executive of Send Ghana, SiSi Kamara, made this known at the National Stakeholders Conference and launch of the utilization of the District Assembly Common Fund report. The study reviewed planned and implemented District Assembly Common Fund projects by 27 MMDAs from 2010 to 2013, the benefits derived from them and how the projects and benefits were evenly distributed. The report cited the delay in disbursement of funds, as well as the lack of grassroots participation, as a major hindrance to development at the local level.
So if people get more and more information about government and they are able to use that, it helps them to maximize government for themselves. And the media, a more inclusive society in the resources of the country equally. We should all have the same opportunity. That's what inclusion is about. There should be no soft, there should be no north. Our diversity should be a strength rather than be division.
The ranking member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Social Welfare, Robert Safo-Mensah, also called for guidelines for the administration of the funds meant for persons living with disabilities.
The fundamental problem is that as a country, we have not taken it upon ourselves to make it part of our policy to mainstream issues of disability. That is why, if the government doesn't release on time what we get from the common fund, it means that there's nothing that we can do. So all of us must begin to add our voice to it, that if for nothing at all, we must give priority to the common fund. The law says that 7.5% of our locally generated revenue must go to the common fund. Whatever government collects, we must insist as a country that that releases must go so that the assemblies can benefit from this share.
Among the several recommendations made, Send Ghana also called for an effective monitoring system on projects at the district level.
Running mate of the opposition New Patriotic Party's presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has charged Muslims in political leadership to be prudent in their management of state resources, blaming the economic hardships on persistent stealing from the state's purse over the years. Dr. Bawumia asked adherents of the Islamic faith in leadership positions to reflect teachings of the religion for the benefit of the larger citizenry. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Speaking at the 56th National Conference of the Ghana Muslim Mission in Kumasi, Dr. Bawumia said corruption in its various forms is killing the country. He told the gathering it was not Allah's will for Ghana to suffer economic challenges.
Wherever you look, whether it is the SADA program that was meant to develop the 3 northern regions, when they went and rather than using the money, they said they had red guinea fowls that were flown to Burkina Faso. Whether it's Suba, whether it's Jida, whether it's Wyoming, whether it's Waterville, whether it's National Service, whether it's World Cup, everywhere you look, inside out, left, right, middle, center, it is stealing and stealing and stealing. And this is got a direct bearing on the welfare of the people. And as Muslims, we should make sure that whenever we find ourselves in a leadership position or leadership positions, we take care of those resources for the benefit of the whole country.
He attributed the challenges to what he terms mismanagement by the current government. Dr. Bawumia thus appealed to the Muslim Ummah to support the New Patriotic Party to enable it to capture power in 2016 to reverse the fortunes of the country.
We are pleading with you. I know Nana Akufo-Addo very well. He is a man of integrity. He is a man of honesty. He is a man of competence. He's a God-fearing man. He and I will be on the ballot. We are going to ask for your support then, and we ask for it now. Not just because I am a Muslim like you, but because, inshallah, we will be able to manage the resources of this country for the benefit of everyone.
He also urged them to pay serious attention to sanitation issues.
Cleanliness, as they say, is next to godliness. And so, as Muslims, we want to manage our environment such that it is very clean, such that our persons and our environment are all very clean. And if we mismanage that environment and we suffer diseases as a result of it, then we should not blame Allah. We should do what it takes to keep our environment clean.
Former Accra Regional Minister Sheikh I.C. Quay was also present at the event.
Finally, a Muslim, after keeping his body, his soul, his clothes, his place of prayer, in fact the whole of his environment clean, collects the refuse and deposits it at the dumping site. Then the rest becomes the responsibility of government to collect. So you find that the bola all over the place. We have done as Muslims, we have done our best. We clean our body, we clean our environment, we clean the mosque, we clean everywhere, and then we collect the refuse and dump it. Government take over, and government cannot take over. Inshallah, 2016, we are coming, and we shall do everything possible.
A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Muslim mission is to establish 4 tertiary institutions in the Ashanti and Bonilla regions. Land has already been acquired for the construction of a university at Esreso near Kumasi and a college of education at Biposo, all in the Ashanti region. A second college of education will be sited in the Bonilla region with a nursing training college at Kukum. NPP running mate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has donated 5,000 Ghana cedis towards the project. Another report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
The initiative is to leverage the Ghana Muslim Mission's contribution to education at the basic and secondary cycle levels. Chairman of the mission, Sheikh Dr. Amin says an Islamic university will offer Muslims opportunity to propagate their religious principles through education. Sheikh Bunsu expressed concern about religious intolerance in some mission schools, which compel Muslim students to engage in worship against their will. He encouraged Muslim leaders to pay particular attention to their Islamic identity and values. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
You're also watching the Primetime Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV and also on ABN TV across Europe. We'll take a breather. Please stay with us. You're welcome back and many thanks for staying. A human rights and public interest lawyer, Francis Xavier Susu, is calling for amendment of the Domestic Violence Act to enable the state fine or press charges on parents who do not put their children through formal education. Reacting to a feature on violation of the right to education on Joy News' flagship human rights program, Eyes Right, Francis Xavier Susu said it is high time the state showed some seriousness in fulfillment of the right to education, which he said is tied to other basic rights provided for in the Constitution.
The Constitution of Ghana makes education free and compulsory, but many children of school-going age find themselves out of school, mostly due to economic situations or financial hardships being encountered by their parents. Lawyer Francis Susu was reacting to the story of a 12-year-old who is stuck at home and busy with his mother's oyster business along with his 3 siblings instead of going to school.
It's not a difficult thing to do for me because they have taught me and I knew it. Please no, it's because the fire and the way you have been carrying it from the fire, that is just the reason why. I can't do it for a long time.
The boy, Benedict, complained to his mother that his work at school receives no attention from his teacher. His mother asked him to stay at home.
If I do exercise or class test, my teacher will say, my parents think, did my parents take their food so that they will be teaching me and my parents will not pay them the fees, so they refuse to mark my work. And when I come and report to my mother said I should not go to the school again, so he will pretend me to another school.
At home, he and his siblings are central to their mother's oyster business, which rakes in a substantial amount of money. But two of them are out of school because of money.
Like I'm in the government school, like I've been in 4, but when I went to high class, when I must go to class 2, they sent me to class 1, so they said there's no chair in class 2 for me to sit. So they sent me to class 1. And now if I go to the government school, I'll be in Form 1.
His big brother tells Joy News they seldom do the oyster business except when their mother is not available. But it appears she is unavailable almost all week.
If your mother is not around 4 days in a week, and that is when you don't go to school, then it means that you don't go to school at all?
No, unless we have oyster to do.
Head teacher of First Class Academy, where they attend, confirms that the parents have not shown enough commitment to educate their children because they could still be in school with just a negotiation.
We are private and we depend on the fees to run our institution. We cannot say that the parents are really interested in paying our money to us. He comes to the school, we threaten them and say we are going to sack, but we have never sacked.
Throughout our visit, their mother was unavailable. An aunt, however, told us she has made efforts to get the parent to send them back to school, but all proved futile. She also debunks the notion the children are being overworked.
They are not being overworked. My children go to school, but we have no help, and so they have to help us to take care of them.
Lawyer Francis Sosu says engaging in chores to help parents is not wrong if it does not take precedence over education. In a case such as this, he says the Constitution empowers any willing individual to press charges against the parent.
You read Section 8 of the Children's Act. It says that no person shall deprive a child access to education.
And if you do, what is the exactly?
If you do, it is not criminal for you to do so because our laws have not criminalized those things.
Okay.
But it would, it would entitle the child to an action against you. If anybody, will stand in either in local parentis or as a next friend of the child to take you to court, you can have an action against you. And in any event, it can, in appropriate circumstance, ground a criminal conviction, particularly when the deprivation leads to some psychological and emotional abuse. Then it can become domestic violence. And under the Domestic Violence Act, that child can, secure criminal conviction, against the mother.
But such court actions seldom happen in Ghana.
There should be some penalty that could make people feel that, look, the state is now serious. If we are supposed to take our children to school and we refuse to take them to school, we can be fined by the state. Maybe we may not be put in prison, but we can be fined. And maybe even in appropriate circumstance, there could be some, it could even be a misdemeanor.
Lawyer Sosu challenges the social welfare and related agencies in the Adan district to be proactive in protecting children like Benedict. He also throws a word of caution to all parents to be mindful of such possible criminal charges for not taking their children to school. Eyes Right is a program aimed at educating the public about their rights and responsibilities as enshrined in Ghana's constitution and other conventions that the country signs on to.
Some residents at Old Tafo in Kumasi will soon be forced to vacate lands that they are illegally occupying. This is because traditional and opinion leaders of the town are set to roll out innovative programs to transform the community. The programs include a proper layout to avert disasters such as fire and also improve emergency response.
This is Old Tafo, one of the most densely populated suburbs in Kumasi. Increasing number of residents at a fast rate is one major factor of recent lateral extension of houses. These randomly constructed houses raise a lot of concern to some residents because of the potential danger. Community leaders fear any natural disaster could expose people to unpleasant situations due to inaccessibility. To address the challenges, development planning committees have been inaugurated with the objective of redesigning the community for social development. The committee would largely look at the infrastructure and re-engineering of residential accommodation to create access roads to communities.
I made mention of accommodation, facilities. Originally, when the town was planned, the layout was so perfect, but now we see duplication, kiosks, additions that you don't even have the opportunity to pass through the lane. It's all choked up, creating overpopulation, the debt, creating ill health because no ventilation. And the rooms are not enough for any family. Children will have to sleep in kiosks with their friends, breeding truancy, which extends to the school. So our objective is to take care of our specific problems that we find are very important for our development. We accept the general development plan that the government brings, which includes the Millennium Goals, is good. But there are certain specific problems that are overlooked. You know, that is why we are planning this. This is something like what we describe as bottom up. The problem is coming from the grass. The plans are coming from the grassroots. What they feel are their proper problems, and then brought up for plans for implementation.
Other committees include legal, health and education, whose heads would deal with land litigation, sanitation and falling standard of education in the area. Chief of Tafo, Nana Ekwoku Frimpong Nyama, at first urged residents to rally behind the committees. Member of Parliament of Tafo Pankrono, Anthony Ekutuosei, Songo Chief Alhaji Seidu Chipsa, and selected assembly members constitute the Development Planning Committee. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
SiSi Life has donated cleaning tools and equipment to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development as part of efforts to help I beg your pardon, improve the national sanitation day exercises in the country. The donation was in response to a general appeal made by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to corporate institutions to help support the national sanitation concept by governments. The third National Sanitation Day will fall on Saturday, January 3, 2015.
Managing Director of SiSi Life, Aaron Issa Anafuri, indicated that the donation was motivated by the participation of the Asante-Hene, Ministers of State, and the President in the National Sanitation exercise.
We were moved when we saw the President of the Republic of Ghana doing the cleaning. We also moved when we saw Otumfuo also in the cleaning gear, also